I don't wanna waste your time. I wanna take you to a place of mine and maybe talk about the universe. Or maybe we can watch some television. I'm hella with it. Just let me know I'm available. I know you got a schedule, probably on the grind. I just think that you incredible, baby. You know you fine. West Coast. I don't wanna waste your time. I wanna take you to a place of mine and roll another, bring some music. We can drink some wine, and when we wake up in the morning, we can press rewind and talk about it if you want to. Baby, it's all on you.
Hey, hello. How's it going, guys? How are you? I'm Michelle Taylor Willis, and I cannot think of a better way that I would love to start Black History Month than being here on Radivision. And if you've never heard of Radivision before, let me tell you, Radivision is the network for entrepreneurs. If you're entrepreneurial, if you're in the startup space, if you're a founder and you need program tailored just for you, Radivision is the place. So welcome. This is our first show for Black is the New Green, and I'm really excited about this show. And we built this show really to showcase the fact that Black founders, Black entrepreneurs, Black startup companies are the wealth, the new wave of wealth and generational wealth that will be infused into the American economy. And so in Black is the New Green, my goal, our goal, is to inspire you, empower you, and to show you how these Black founders are changing the game in this space and really how you can do it too. So Black is the New Green, right? And speaking of which, we have someone who's Black here and who is clearly the new green because he's going to show us about all the money that can be made with this amazing technology that he has developed. Shasha Jumbe is the founder of Level42AI, and this company I think is groundbreaking. I know it's groundbreaking because this is going to show us a completely revolutionary way that we can diagnose COVID without any kind of invasion, without any kind of major anything happening, and maybe how we might be able to treat it a little differently and better in the future. So Shasha, welcome to Black is the New Green. You are literally the premier guest. So welcome, and it's so good to see you again.
Thanks, Michelle. It's good to see you, and neither of us are wearing green today.
I know. You know, you're right. I should have had on green. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just felt kind of blue in a good way today. So this is what I went with. But you should have been wearing green for sure.
Yeah, I just thought of it now.
I did too. Next time, Shasha, next time. All right. So listen, I want to dive in here because I know we don't have a lot of time, but I would love for you to start and tell us about this incredibly innovative, groundbreaking technology that you have developed that can help us detect COVID from the Earth's electromagnetic waves and vibrations, all of that. And I know I got to keep it real basic because everybody's not scientists like you and me are, Shasha. They don't get it like we do. So break it down for us and tell us exactly about this technology and how it works.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. So, the very first basic question to ask us is, what is our body trying to tell us at any given time? Our body has got its own check engine light or check your fuel light that we've all stopped listening to. When you breathe and when you talk, the movement of air and fluids in our body changes depending on how happy we are and how sad we are. So what Level 42 is doing is developing solutions that help us to listen very carefully to what our body is telling us about our health. And then we use algorithms, machine learning and artificial intelligence to interpret those sounds that are visible and invisible, that are audible, that you can hear with your ear and that you can't hear with your ear, to make a diagnosis on your current health.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is when we're sick, our body might sound differently than when we're healthy.
It even goes more simply than that. Whether you're healthy or sick, your body is always telling you what's going on because of the way that fluids, blood, and air gases are being moved around in your body. Stop and think about this a little bit. Just listen to your body. Your gut makes the most sound in your body all the time. Some of it we can hear, some of it we can not hear. We just feel it as a movement, and some of it we can even smell. That all that is a range of ways that our bodies are telling us about what's going in our body. And then when it comes to COVID, it's very interesting because one of the things you have to think about is how we even breathe. When you breathe, you take in a mass of air through your mouth and through your nose, and that air is warmed up by our bodies and has a little bit of water added to it so that you can exchange the oxygen that's in the air with the carbon dioxide that is being eliminated from the body. So what happens very early in COVID infection is that the hairs in your throat, in your nostrils, stand up on edge because they're sensors. They sense that something is coming into the body that they don't like, and then your body stops hydrating and warming up the air that's coming into your body because that makes you swallow more in order to get rid of the virus. And this is why some of us get diarrhea very early during an infection.
Wow.
And all
Okay.
those changes are being captured by our solutions, and that's how we're able to screen very early who has COVID and who doesn't, just because of the way that your body is responding to the infection.
Wow. Okay. This is, I did some research on this, and reading it is one thing. Listening to you talk about this is another. So, I mean, down to the hair standing up on your actual organs, your body literally begins to vibrate differently when you have COVID, and your device can pick up on those vibrations from the
Exactly.
outside without even going anywhere inside my body, which sounds weird, but yeah.
Exactly, Michelle, because every single heartbeat you have, or everything, a single breath that you take, causes your body to vibrate. And those vibrations are transmitted from the organs, the heart, and the lungs to the surface of the skin. And those changes that I'm talking about that are very subtle. This is the reason why we needed to make our own new hardware in order to capture those, because there's nothing that exists. We're a data science company, but we realized that nobody was making this hardware. Or if you think about it, it's a super sensitive microphone that is sensitive enough to pick earthquakes that are happening around the world. But we are actually focusing on the mini earthquake that's happening in your body with every breath and with every heartbeat.
Mini
And
earthquake in our
yes,
body. Okay, got it.
and
Yeah,
the
so I wanted you
solution
to, yeah.
is tiny, right? Imagine just moving this over your body in less than 3 minutes. And this also picks up those mini earthquakes that are happening inside your body in less than 180 seconds to make a diagnosis or of whether you have COVID-19 or not.
It
So
looks like the tricoder from Star Trek. Right.
well, look, I mean, that's the ultimate goal for our company, because right now we're doing this screening through clothing, but we already have technology that works where you don't even have to be touched by the solutions. You just walk through our systems, and we can diagnose all these changes that are happening in your body, and that's the holy grail for us to be able to measure things like blood pressure changes without touching you at all, to diagnose cancer, right? Because if you imagine, uh, if you have a lung cancer, it's like having a piece of gum on a drum, and the drum, to somebody who plays it really well, is going to sound different, even if they have their eyes closed and you stick a piece of gum on the drum. They're going to know that there is something else on that drum that is changing the sound of it, of their drum, and that's what we're doing to the lungs as well, because
All
cancers.
with this, all with this little device.
it's with this device and other additions that we've been working on, and I'm delighted to also say that February started really well for us because we got our first patent just approved and published yesterday.
Wow.
So all this work is novel and has also been appreciated by the USPTO, and we have a patent for this whole technology body of the instrumentation as well as our algorithms to translate all those information into actionable insights.
That's huge. So congratulations on that. And I'm glad that you showed us, I'm going to call it the little tricorder from Star Trek. I'm glad that you showed us that. And I think we have a video to actually show that being used, how people can, how people can use this to detect COVID. So let's run that video.
And I have so many questions about life, the universe, and everything. I look up at the stars at night, and I sometimes wonder. And though this world is getting worse, don't wanna spend a day in it without you. Though this world is getting worse, won't be long before we change it, just me and you. So hey, I think I found my 42. It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. Hey, we can hitchhike far past the moon, 'cause it's you, it's you, it's you, my 42.
J'ai participé au projet Impulse. J'ai trouvé intéressant par la prise des paramètres. Ça ne nécessite pas, c'est pas stressant comme le test PCR habituel avec le nasopharyngé. Ça, c'est juste un système qu'ils ont fait et puis qui captait les vibrations. C'est plus facile et vraiment, c'est génial. Je trouve que c'est une bonne technique pour le diagnostic.
Je viens de faire l'examen, j'ai trouvé ça c'est bon. On n'avait pas des avis pour faire ça, ça tout pas mal aussi. Par rapport à la PCR, le prédateur peut faire une fausse manœuvre et puis tu peux vraiment sentir mal, mais ça, vraiment c'est bon, j'ai trouvé ça c'est bon. En tout cas, c'est tout, j'ai apprécié ça.
Wow. So did he have COVID? Do we know? Did we get the results?
So thanks, Michelle, for showing those. The study that we were showing just now is being done in the Republic of the Congo, in a town called Pointe Noire. We are looking to examine 700 individuals there, and we were able to catch as the Delta strain was going through the community, and now we're also catching the Omicron strain going through the community as well. So that study is aimed to be completed at the end of the month. So during these studies, we don't tell people whether they have COVID or not, because we're comparing ourselves to the gold standard, which is PCR,
Right.
that we then end up using for developing our algorithms.
Got you. And I'll remind people too that the chat is open. So if you want to dive in and join the conversation, absolutely. We'd love to see your comments. And we will have a short Q&A when we get to the end of the interview. So stay tuned for that. So one of the videos we saw, Shasha, was a guy going through what looked like an airport scanner. My question is, and from what I can tell, when you walk through this, again, the device is picking up on the vibrations in the body, right? And so once you walk through that, you'll know probably whether you have COVID or where you might have symptoms for COVID or you're completely clear. If that device does what we think it does or what you know it does, why isn't that everywhere? It seemed like it'd be at every school, at every, airport, all of these places, right?
So Michelle, and you and I have been talking now for more than a year. When COVID started, our goal was to produce that solution and get it out. But at the same time, COVID-19 was going through these waves. People were interested, then they were not interested, because
Right.
there's always been this hope that COVID-19 is going away. So we were not able to do the clinical trials that we wanted to do with that solution. So we have not been able to generate the data that is required. Unlike the smaller device that we could send to other countries, and this is why we're doing the clinical trial in Republic of the Congo. We've done clinical trials in India at 2 different sites, and also here in the US at Johns Hopkins. It was easier for us to move the smaller device, which is why we've got so much more data than it was for the bigger device. And we're hoping we'll be able to come back to those standard studies. That device costs a lot more money, and we need help to be able to finish those studies.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So let me ask you this, because I've heard you speak of what you call the promised land, right? What is the promised land as you would describe it? And remember, keep it simple for the little people. I mean, you and me, we get it, but some people, they might
Well,
not.
it is simple, because this is something, the idea really comes from my mother and my grandmother. So that right now, health is all reactive, right? You go and seek health when you're health services when you're ill. But when we talk about the promised land in our mind, the idea is that you have your own check engine light that gives you early warnings when your body is trying to tell you that something is about to go wrong, and you can go and get checked out. And that what we mean by promised land is that now you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about your car's engine light. It'll come on at the right time. Now imagine Michelle had a check engine light, Shasha had a engine light, Mona had a engine light that comes on privately. Only you know what's going on, and then and that check engine light is being generated by your chair, because we can put our solutions in chairs. Being generated by your car seat, because we can put our solutions in your car seat, from your watch. But
So
we have,
like so I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to give this visual. So you mean as I'm sitting here in my chair right now, you have technology, your technology could be in this chair that could literally tell me you
the sensors that are in here, we've already miniaturized them so that they could be put into car seats, and into couches and into
wow.
beds as well. And that's what we mean by the promised land. Is it's not something that's 10, 15 years ahead of us, but it's something that we can start delivering now, and we just need help in order to get these solutions out. And this is why we're delighted to be a part of this conversation, to tell people that, we're not part of the problem anymore. We're part of the solution. We can deliver these solutions. We can generate the data, and we can also be owners of artificial intelligence, machine learning, to help get our communities from being on the receiving end or being left behind by technology, but to actually being part of where this promised land is, and to become that population that is owning, and not only worried about making the green, but actually being part of the green.
Right, right. And I love I love that you call it the promised land, because that would be a great place to be, right? I mean, at what point do you think, because you didn't start this company for COVID, this already existed. At what point did you say this is the pivot for us?
Well, the clinical trials that we were doing at that time, which were focused on carotid artery disease, so the carotid, the arteries that feed your neck, your face, and your brain are especially important, right, for the existence of humans, especially as we trying to get to the age of 100. And um, almost 40 to 60% of people over the age of 40 have some kind of carotid artery disease that they don't know of. It's asymptomatic, just like we've been talking about asymptomatic COVID. And they only find out about it when it's too late to to take care of it, to cure it. And
Right.
curing is actually quite simple. There's a lot of solutions out there. But those clinical trials were stopped because of COVID-19. And we decided that to test the what we were thinking as the hypotheses of our solution, we could go to COVID-19, and since we're looking at fluids and air, we should be able to also apply our solution to COVID-19.
Got you.
And
And
then
that's when it kind of,
so we pivoted as a company and put 100% of our effort on this, and now we have a solution that we've put forth to the FDA here in the US, to Health Canada, and also we're going to Australia as well.
so, which is amazing. So let me ask you this, because there are founders that are watching, right? That may not know exactly at what point they should pivot, how to get started, and how they can communicate to people that their technology literally can change the world or change the way that we do things. So, how has your device inspired you to be able to change how we do medicine? And then how do you inspire other founders to figure that out in their own path or journey?
Yeah, Michelle, you've watched me through this journey. Being a founder is hard. It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
But it's a calling that once you get on the path, you're fighting for survival. You're worried not only about the well-being of your family, but of the other co-founders in your company. So the decision to pivot for COVID-19 was not done lightly, but it was a survival
Hmm.
mechanism, right? We'd just been in business for about 8 months when COVID hit. So we had a choice to stop or to continue, and we decided to continue. So for any founders that are out there, first of all, I'll tell you this, that the calling is one that some of us can avoid but listen to, because life, reporting to other people or following other people's dreams is very different than following your own dream. So once you get that calling, don't take it lightly. But once you have made the decision to go after your dream, your goals, and what you're working on, people don't believe, listen to those people that believe, and be committed to impressing those, because those are the people that matter. And keep in mind what people are saying may be impossible, and just go for it. More of us need to be doing this, because, like I was saying, the world is being divided into people who own the problems and the people who are the problem.
That's exactly right.
We
Yeah.
want to be the solution for our own problems, and no one else is going to solve our solutions. So we need more people biting the bullet and going after this, because
Right.
we can do it.
So, and we have a couple questions, and thank you guys. Definitely join the conversation in the comments, and we do have a couple questions I want to ask that. And hashtag Black is the new green on whatever social you are. Make sure you hashtag us Black is the new green, hashtag Radivision. And so I'm going to ask you this final question, and then I'm going to get some questions from our chat here. But do you think that your technology can actually be used for treatment, not just diagnosis, but and how we treat that? Can you answer that in maybe 30, 45 seconds, Shasha?
Yes. So vibrations are part of nature. We cannot avoid that. So think about it. What we smell, what we hear, and what we see, they're all on the same continuum around vibrations, frequency, and wavelengths. And what we're starting to do is just the tip of the iceberg as far as what our technology is aimed to do. And that includes curing some diseases that my grandmother, your grandmother, have known solutions to. And we're just going to provide the data to enable that.
Got it. Because it's all about the data, right? Once you have the data, you can figure everything else out. Love it. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Okay, let me grab a couple questions here. And I just want to recognize some people in the chat. Thank you. Iman says, wow. Yulia, Iman, lots of fires everywhere. Good fires. good fires. One of the questions is, what is the funding goal and where are you with fundraising?
So we've raised $2.45 million to date, coming from uh, um, the Schmidt Futures, as well as a small round that we had from seed investors, and also the founders themselves. We believe in this solution enough that we've put in a lot of the money ourselves. And we're looking to raise between $8 to $12.5 million to be able to now start rinsing and adapting the solution that we have created for COVID-19 to go after big ticket diseases like cardiovascular diseases, asthma, lung and gut cancers, and breast cancer and prostate as well, because these are they know early screening tools for these diseases, and if we catch those diseases early, we're able to cure them. And then we also are looking to go more into performance enhancement. Right, we can all perform better at sport, work, and play if we are healthier, and our solutions are going to be really useful for performance enhancement as well.
Awesome. Couple more comments here. Great interview. What an incredible technology. Look at this. Maybe we have some investors on the line, Shasha, for you. Iman says, listen to those people who believe, and we have to surround ourselves by those people. Absolutely. Great information. Thanks for doing this. Another question we've got is, what's the accuracy rate of this technology?
Great question. And for COVID-19 specifically, because that's where we generated the most data, is we are 100% accurate in symptomatic patients. So if you have COVID-19 already and you've got a fever, we can confirm that you have COVID. In asymptomatic patients, where we individuals where we don't have great solutions right now, we've tuned our solution to be very sensitive as a primary screening device, and our accuracy right now in asymptomatic individuals is 92.8%.
Wow. I mean, I'm not a physician or a scientist, but I do play one on TV. And I got to tell you, I don't know if there's ever a time where you get 100%, 93% accuracy. It seems like we just should be using this everywhere, Shasha. This should be flying off the shelves.
Well, we're going. Remember, our goal towards the promised land is that your chair is telling you whether you're healthy or not. And in order to do this properly, we need to go through the regulatory process and convince the regulators that this technology works as it's supposed to. And we're going through that. We're going through testing and certification that we require for our solutions, mainly because once we do this for COVID, we can then go into the other diseases. And one thing I didn't talk about, Michelle, is this concept that we need to get in our heads is that the PCR machine that we all become very familiar with around COVID, the PCR machine is disease agnostic. It doesn't care what disease you're working on. What happens is scientists need to quickly figure out what reagents, chemical reagents, and reaction times are needed for the PCR to now become a COVID-19 PCR test or to become an Ebola PCR test. What we have with our Level 42 Impulse system is that it's a digital version of the PCR, because now all we need is data and a clinical comparator, and we can tune our algorithms in order to diagnose and screen for different diseases. So one is analog and one is digital, and these two will work hand in hand to make our society healthier.
So how can we help you? How do we get involved?
We need more people being part of clinical studies. We don't get enough of our communities participating in in these types of clinical trials, which is why we ended up going to Africa as well as to India to do some of these studies to get better representation. We need people to stop thinking that other people should be working on these solutions other than us, right? We can do this. Look at me. I look like most of the people on this call. And if I can come up with this great idea and can put my family at risk to make sure that we all are better, if more of us are doing this, we'll be able to lift our society up and be part of the green, the new green. And then most importantly is funding. Help us. We need to get this solution out into the world. And I see the question around other companies using similar tech. Yes, there are people using phones, right, to diagnose whether you're depressed or not. But then phones are really tuned for voice, so for frequencies between 100 to 800 hertz. But the data that we're collecting from our body, it doesn't have to do with hearing. We are interested in things that you can hear, but neither of us can hear our own heartbeats right now, right? Or ourselves breathing. So we've stretched what the phone is able to do to be able to capture what is relevant for the disease, rather than forcing a phone to solve a solution that it wasn't made for. We actually created a solution that is specific for the problem that we're working on.
Awesome. Well, listen, how do people follow you? People want to know how to get in touch with you. How do they get in touch and follow and track the company, Shasha?
Please go to www.level42AI and get in touch with us. We're part of Radivision. Mona, yourself, Michelle, being great supporters of our platform, and we look forward to continuing the relationship. And you can find us also on LinkedIn. We're trying to teach more and more people about sounds, vibrations, light, etc., because these are concepts. Get your kids into STEM, because this is it. This is where it all comes from. Michelle, I tell you a lot about this all the time, that my mother is the one that pushed me to have the education that I've had, and also to balance sport and science education. And this is why I'm able to be on the call, and I'm grateful for that.
Yes, I know your mom is a huge impact in your life. We've got to wrap this up. I've got two more questions. If you can answer these really quickly, I think we can get these out, Shasha. So Salah wants to know, what is your dream as an entrepreneur? Can you answer that in about 30 seconds? It's the promised land, right?
It's a promised land. Impact as many people as possible, and that also includes positively impacting my family as well.
Awesome. There you go, Salah. And Rob, can this ever be in a device like an Apple Watch?
This is better than the Apple Watch, because Apple Watch doesn't work on people's color like ours, right? Because it's light. You've gone into a sink in the bathroom at the airport and it doesn't work when you try to get it to put your hand underneath it, because it doesn't recognize our skin. What we are focused on are solutions that will work on everybody, including dark colored tones. And we're not focused just on light, but are also focused on vibrations, which we all generate as well.
Awesome. Shasha, thank you so much. As always, like I said, great to see you. Congratulations on the patent and all of these things that you've got coming out. And you heard it here first, guys. He needs money. He needs people for clinical trials. He needs us to help him get to the promised land. And isn't that really where we all want to get, to the promised land? So radivision.com, we are your network. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're entrepreneurially minded, a founder, startup, whatever, come here, because this is your home, right? And Black is the New Green will be here every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. I'm Michelle Taylor Willis. You can find me at Michelle Taylor Willis on just about everything. Make sure you hashtag Black is the New Green or Bing. We'll answer to both and we'll respond to both. And we're on just about everything. All right. So we got to go now, but we will see you guys next time. Thank you, Shasha.
Great to see you, Michelle. See you live soon.
Absolutely.
And I have so many questions about life, the universe, and everything. I look up at the stars at night, and I sometimes wonder. And though this world is getting worse, don't wanna spend a day in it without you. Though this world is getting worse, won't be long before we change it, just me and you. So hey, I think I found my 42. It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. Hey, we gonna trek far past the moon, 'cause it's you, it's you, it's you, my 42.